Hi, my name is Brian Vargo. I'm the owner of Vargo Outdoors, and I wanted to demonstrate the Triad XE alcohol stove. The XE is actually a dual fuel stove. It uses either alcohol or fuel tabs. To use a fuel tab with the XE, you would actually take the center canister out, and then you sit your fuel tab inside like this, take a match, light it, and make your meal. The downside of fuel tabs is they do give off a pretty bad odor and they leave a dirty residue. So most of the time I would recommend that you use alcohol because it burns a lot cleaner and it's probably a little more efficient. With the Triad XE, the first thing I recommend is that when you use it, you actually want to push the legs, make them straight, and then you push them into the ground like this and make a nice stable stove. Common mistake that I see is people often try to light either the Triad or the Triad XE on a flat surface, maybe a picnic table or a rock. It's a bad idea because when you go to sit your pot on top, it's too easy for you to knock the stove over and spill the alcohol and have a nice little flame. So what I recommend, again, is to actually anchor it into the ground like this. The second thing that does, it actually lowers the stove to the ground so that you're not going to get as much wind exposure with the stove being so low. To use alcohol, what you would do is take the lid off of the center canister, take your alcohol, and I do recommend some kind of a fuel bottle that has a flip top cap like this, or possibly like a sport cap. You want to fill it up like this in the center, and then what you do is put the lid on like this, and then you'd actually just go ahead and sit the whole thing inside here. Usually I kind of push it over to the side a little bit so that it allows air to flow a little bit more freely into the right or left side. So I kind of push it off to the side like that. And then I pour the alcohol actually right on the top as a primer. And then take your match and light it like this. And alcohol it burns really clean, so it is difficult to see, so you want to be very careful. Common mistake is people think that the stove isn't priming or isn't lit, and then they go to try to put more alcohol back in to the stove while it is lit. And if you do that, what will happen is the flame will actually go back up into your fuel bottle, and your fuel bottle will explode. So it's really important that you are sure that the stove is actually extinguished before you try to put more alcohol in. As soon as you light the stove, and I don't know if you can see it right now, but it is actually lit. It is in the process of priming. And what happens during priming is the flame will go from just kind of in the general area, and it will actually, the flame will begin to shoot out these holes that are on the top. And once that happens, then the stove is actually fully primed. It takes about 30 seconds to a minute, depending on different factors, temperature outside, the temperature of your fuel, and so forth. But nevertheless, as soon as you light the stove, you don't have to sit here and wait for it to prime. As soon as you light it, you can actually go ahead and put your pot on top and make your meal. So this is the Triad XE, and thank you very much.